Thank you for joining us today. So we have been doing this event in DEQ Atrium before the pandemic, and we are so happy to be back. And with that, I would like to introduce Secretary and State CIO James Weaver to start our event.
Now, hey, good morning, everybody. What an exciting, beautiful day this is here in Raleigh. Here, the weather's going to get back up in the 80s, so my blood still has not thinned out. So 40-degree, 50-degree weather, I'm still in shorts and T-shirts, but still see a lot of people and wearing jackets. So we're going to get back to warmer weather today. It's great to be here. This is a topic I'm extremely passionate about, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But first, we got some thank yous to make sure that we give out. So first off, Elena, thanks to all your efforts today for pulling this together. And thank you all for talking about how we can begin our digital transformation here in the state of North Carolina. Secretary Beiser, I believe she's still here. So Secretary Beiser, we want to thank you and DEQ's partnership for helping to sponsor this. I will tell you, Secretary Beiser has been a champion and a great partner and not accepting the status quo and helping the state move forward and not continue to do things the way we've done things. So I want to make sure that we give DEQ their recognition as part of this effort as well. So Elena, if you don't know Elena, she's our digital services manager for our digital solutions team. And Mac, I know I saw Mac somewhere. He still might be over at the registration table. There, like you guys, Mac, they can't see you through the wall. Come on. So there, Mac, now he's hiding behind poles. There you go, Mac. So these two have been doing a phenomenal job on our digital commons platform. I'm very, very proud of the works that they have done, and Mac's going to talk a little bit later about some more of that information. Our digital solutions team, they're all rocking the NC.gov shirts. That did not come out of my budget. That came out of their personal budgets, but just for the record. But it's a great opportunity for you to see all who's involved in that within our DIT organization. I also want to mention that our Digital Commons team was recently awarded with the State Government Experience Award. And so please join me in a round of applause for our team and the hard work that they've been doing. I can talk to you all about the great things that are going on in our digital commons platform, but let's focus on what we're really talking about today, and that's around digital transformation. No single agency serves a North Carolinian. Think about it in your personal lives. How many different entities do you need to engage with at a state government level? Or more specifically, think about it as you as a resident of the state of North Carolina. You probably see more local government in action than you see state government in action. You see your trash get picked up. You see water come out of your faucets. You see the sewage systems working, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And local government is where the rubber hits the road for the most part on day-to-day services out to the residents of our state. And so it's extremely important for us that when we talk about government and governmental services and being in a digital world, that we streamline this process, because it's not a technology problem, folks. It's a human bureaucratic process that stymies us from being able to deliver quality services across the board. You as an individual living in our state should not have to try to figure out, am I dealing with the federal government? Am I dealing with the state government? Am I dealing with my county government, local, municipal, whatever the levels of government are? And so we have to start changing that paradigm a little bit differently and start thinking about not from us being online to state agencies and how we deliver services to residents of our state, but change that paradigm to all of you sitting out there. How do you want to engage? What is it that you need from your government and the accessing of services and the delivery of those services? I'm very proud of the fact that we have a gentleman here, our Deputy CIO from Guilford County. Guilford County is the first county that is reaching out and has taken a look and said, you guys are doing some really cool things. We want to come on board and start transitioning our web presence over to what you're doing at the state level. And we're really excited and looking forward to our county-state collaboration partnership because, again, the focus is around each of you as residents of the state, not necessarily what each of us at an agency level do. And when we think about digital services, We have to think about equity. We have to think about connectivity. And so the broadband program that Governor Cooper has, his plan that we are working on in DIT right now is so critical to this. When we think about 10% of North Carolinians today lack access to high-speed quality internet. How do we do a digital transition if we can't have all our residents in our state connected on the digital highway and be able to participate and move forward? So we have to be extremely careful, no matter what we do in a digital world, that we are not driving inequity further than what it is today. So when you look at our strategic plan across the enterprise, and again, across the enterprise, not specific to DIT, you're going to see digital transformation as one of my major initiatives. And when I think about digital transformation, think about a stool with legs. The first leg is connectivity. We need connectivity. We need access to high-quality internet service so all North Carolinians have the ability to engage and participate. We need to think about cybersecurity. As we put more people on the digital highway, as we deliver more services in a digital manner, we have to make sure we're doing it safely, we have to make sure we're doing it securely, and more importantly, we are educating North Carolinians on the myths, the things they need to know about when it comes to cybersecurity, because at the end of the day, what we do not want to do is see North Carolinians become victims of cyber theft, cyber crime. And folks, it's out there, it's rampant. You listen to the news every day. If you do listen to the news, I'm foolish enough to do so. Cybercrime is out there. We see it here in North Carolina as well at the state level. Billions and billions of cyber events on a weekly basis that we see here at the state level, let alone when we probably think some of the things that are going on with our county partners as well. The next thing we have to really focus in on and address is privacy. Privacy is an emerging topic. It is something we need to account for. All of you sitting in this room have data that resides with us at a state government level, at a county government level, whatever the case may be. You expect us to protect it, secure it, and to make sure that we're doing the right things with that data and we're not violating any of your privacy rights whatsoever. So privacy is an emerging area that we're going to begin to do more work around and to continue to make sure that as we go and transform more into the digital world, that we're putting the necessary disclaimers, we're putting the necessary information up there for all of you to look at to see how your data is going to be used and the purpose for collecting that data so you know what you're agreeing to when you provide that data. And then lastly, probably our biggest challenge, if those three aren't already a big challenge, is legacy modernization. We have a lot of old applications and technical debt in North Carolina. I hate to say that. That tends to drive, we do business how we've always done business. And it takes leadership like Secretary Beiser and others in our state government to begin to drive and question, why are we doing it the way we're doing it? Can't we do it a better way? And we have to sit there and drive modernization of our applications. We have to get to more resiliency, because at the end of the day, many of you sitting in this room here are expecting 24/7 access to government services. Let's be honest. I mean, we're open from 8 to 5. You all have jobs. You can't go and engage with government from 8 to 5. You need the ability to engage when you have the time to engage between your family commitments, other commitments, your work life, whatever the case may be. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to in that regard. And through our legacy modernization efforts, the critical component of that is data. Data is the key to everything. That is the jewels of the kingdom, if you will. And we have to look at how do we collect data, how do we govern that data, how do we classify that data, and how do we make sure we're effectively using that data for the best possible outcomes for North Carolinians. Sounds like a lot, and it is. It's challenges that we all can get through working together. And I stress the word working together. And that's why the partnership with Secretary Beiser and DEQ is extremely important, because it's starting to showcase how agencies at the state government level can begin to move forward, do some things differently, start to get to better outcomes for North Carolinians. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you're at in government, we're here to serve North Carolinians. That's who the focus and the outcome should be. I go back to my opening comment. No single agency serves a specific North Carolinian. Might be one or two exceptions to that. For the most part, when you think about it, it's multiple. You have revenue, you have DMV, you may have health and human services, you may have a side business, which might bring in other agencies as well. How do we start getting to a different outcome and streamline that process? So the work that our Digital Commons team is doing We have a lot of work to do. I'm very proud of their accomplishments. I'm very proud of what we've been able to get done. As we start looking at user stories, I might use the word personas, user mapping, whatever the case may be. But the more we can help streamline that experience for somebody coming into North Carolina and looking to how they go about to access services, access information is extremely critical. I used the example from a prior life in a state up north. I won't mention who it is. But that particular state, we did something like this back in 2017, 2018. We created user personas. And the number one use case, what we found of people accessing state government websites was we had a son or daughter returning back to the state to take care of elderly parents. How many of you are in that situation? How many of you, well, thank you. Yeah, many of us are, right? And so think about everything you need to do as you move into a new state. The first thing everybody thinks about is, go ahead, this is an open question. Move into a new state, what's the first thing you focus on? Driver's license, right? Vehicle registration. That's one thing. Housing, employment, schools. Anybody with kids besides schools thinking about daycare? How about public transportation? And the list can go on and on and on. How much of that could we streamline up front to take that burden away from a new resident coming into our state, do something differently? And at the end of the day, we still haven't gotten to the fundamental issue of why they came to that particular state, to find services to take care of mom and dad. That's a whole nother, especially in this particular state, that's a whole nother world of, between Department of Aging, Department of Human Services, depending what the age of the parents are. I could go into that ad nauseum. How do we facilitate that process differently? Think about businesses. How could we do things differently with Secretary of State's office on new businesses coming in and maybe some needed inspections, and how could we proactively get things scheduled for a new business owner so they're not trying to figure out who do I have to go call next to get to my next part to get my license. So a lot of work to do. Folks, it's achievable. We can do it. We can work together. Yes, there's some risk. Right? I'm talking with Jennifer a little bit earlier, and it's, one of the comments that was made was, folks are afraid sometimes to take risk because we're going to get sued. Well, if we're not getting sued, we're not trying. Hate to say it that way, right? That's sometimes a sign of success, not necessarily a bad thing, right? There's a lot of people who don't want to implement change. They're afraid of change. Change is in our lives constantly. You look, from a technology aspect, and I know there's a lot of you that are in the IT world here today. Change is occurring every 3 months, every 2 months. Artificial intelligence is going to rock our world. Generative AI is going to rock our world. We're going to be changing constantly and accounting for new and emerging technologies in a different way than we've ever had to before. We cannot continue to do it the way we've always done it. And so I ask for all of your help today as you sit here and listen to our keynote speaker. You hear the story that DEQ is going to talk about with their electronic permitting system. Look at the world of possibilities. Take that spirit of innovation back to each and one, to your agencies. Start those conversations. Let's go and let's try to do something a little bit better and a little bit different in North Carolina.